Welcome back to the Gweilo 60 channel. The rule-based order of global trade has hit a snag, and that snag is Donald Trump. Yes, it is. And you see, how do you screw 8 billion people at the same time? You know, oh God, Don, eh? You know, hitting every country in the world, over 180 countries in the world, with tariffs, and you know, the base tariff of 10% for places like Singapore, you know, because Singapore is your buddy, you know, but Israel, which is like your master, gets charged 17%, the same as the Philippines. You know, picking on a real poor country like the Philippines and having them pay 17% tariff on anything and everything that they import to the United States. You got a little country, Lesotho. It's landlocked in South Africa. I think it's got like 2.2 or 2.3 million people. That's where your Levi's and Wrangler jeans are made. They got hit with a 17% tariff. And you know, a lot of these countries do reciprocal tariffs against the United States, like Canada and Mexico, and they hit China, tonight at midnight. That's, I think, New York time, if I'm not mistaken. They're hitting China with 104% tariffs on everything. And why are they targeting China, their biggest competitor in the world? Well, because China did reciprocal tariffs against the United States when they I think they put on 34% or 54%. It keeps changing, you know. Oh, we'll tariff you this much, and then if you tariff us, we'll tariff you even more. You know, this is Donald Trump at his best, never back down, and until the price of everything goes through the roof. But the price of everything isn't going to go through the roof. Some of it's just not going to be available, like the rare earth minerals from China. I think they took 7 or 9 of them, and they didn't tariff them. They didn't make them not available to the United States. But what they did is the regulations, the red tape became way more and more than it ever has been. So the United States is going to find themselves up to their ass in paperwork to get rare earth materials, things that they need for jet engines, for semiconductor, for you know, next stage technologies, you know, the futuristic technologies of the world. They need that rare earth materials from China, because China is the only place that some of these materials come from. So those now are not on the table for the United States. And China has taken a really hard stance on this and said, we're not going to back down. There's just no way. You want a trade war? You want an economic war? You're going up against the largest economy, purchasing power parity in the world, and they have been since, I think, 2017. You know, on the same scale as the United States, they go through, I think, 33 trillion or 37 trillion dollars a year GDP, where it dwarfs the United States. You know, so the idea that you're taking 1.4 billion consumers off the table because they'll tariff the living shit out of the United States stuff too, so you're just not going to be selling that stuff in China. So you've lost 20% of all your purchasers in the world by pissing off China. But they did the same thing to the European Union. Well, what is it? 54. It was 34% for Vietnam. Now 54% tariffs for Vietnam. Sure, you know, Vietnam is supposed to be their buddy and stuff, but it doesn't work that way anymore. It doesn't matter if you're an ally or an enemy. Oh, ally or enemy? How much did they tariff Russia and Belarus? Oh, and they say, well, because our trade isn't very large with Russia or Belarus. Well, we've had so many sanctions on them that we used to sell 300 billion or 35 billion. I don't even know the number, but it's down to, I think, 3.5 billion now that they trade with Russia. So it's just not worth it. Well, I take you back to Lesotho, a little African country with 2.3 million people. They don't do that much with them, but they get taxed 17%. They're taxing 17% on a little island right by the Antarctic that only has penguins on it. Another island that only has military service personnel, American military service personnel on that island, and they get tariffed. So why not tariff Russia? Oh, because he's your buddy. See, the United States, Donald Trump is buddying up to Vladimir Putin, and it's probably got something to do with trying to break up the bromance between Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. But the thing is that both countries, China and Russia, have said that they're buddies, and that's all there is to it. They're brothers in arms. They're brothers economically. They have a border between them. It's like there's a bromance there, definitely. Yeah. So everything gets more expensive around the world. The Americans are going to be paying more for stuff. So are the Chinese. So are the Canadians, but they didn't get hit with this last set of reciprocal tariffs, just like the Mexicans haven't got hit with it. So they were sort of exempt on that, but they're still at 25% on things like cars and whatever that's not covered by the new NAFTA. I can't remember what it's called, but it really doesn't matter. The free trade agreement between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But you got to understand that everything is going to get more expensive around the world because of one man's decision to tariff the living bejesus out of everybody. Plus, everybody around the world is putting tariffs on American goods. So, just think the job losses. They won't be building much more than what their consumers, their 350 million people in the United States-ish type thing, depends on how many illegal immigrants are there. So they'll only be selling to themselves, and they'll be selling at inflated prices because nobody else is going to buy this crap. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be way too expensive. Everything that comes in, all of the raw materials coming in from Canada are going to be tariffs, so they're going to be that much more expensive. And the raw materials that come in from other places, maybe not Russia though, they've got lots of raw materials. Anyway, but you can see where it's going to cost jobs. It's going to make the citizens of the United States poorer. It's going to cause, well, you've got enough homeless people in the United States as it is. If you've seen by Venice Beach and down the California coast, if you've ever been to Seattle or Portland or Tacoma or any of these places, there's homeless people, homeless camps everywhere. And it's just going to make that worse because people are going to lose their jobs, they won't be able to pay their mortgage, they'll be out in the street, drug addiction will rise, suicides will rise, and it's all because they want to make America great again. You think that the United States is going to lower their wages low enough to compete with other countries around the world like Brazil and Vietnam and the Philippines and even China? You know, China's not that inexpensive anymore as compared to other Southeast Asian countries for wages and such like that. So they got into the technologies and they're building the better stuff, and they're leaving the trinket stuff to countries like Vietnam or Cambodia or the Philippines or you know what I mean? So the idea that everything's getting more expensive, there's going to be more homeless, there's more jobless people, the stock market took a big dive. The last 4 days have been down. To the lowest it's been since 2000. You know, that's pretty sad. Or the biggest hit they've had since, I think it was 1950 when they started watching what was going on with the stock market, reported. This is the biggest 4-day dip ever, and it's all got to do with Trumponomics and the tariffs, and people in those industries like the stock market. They're looking at they want everything to run steady and smooth, and it's anything but. There's no predictability in what Trump's going to do. Put a tariff on, take a tariff off, tariff them more. If you don't do what we want you to do, then we're going to tariff you even more. And how arrogant is the American people and the American government to think that they can strong arm every country around the world and make them do what the United States government wants them to do. Well, sell us your stuff at a discount, like Canadian oil and gas, and then we'll still tariff all the other stuff, because we're not in it for you. We're not in it for the poor countries, the countries that can't afford to feed their people. We're only in it for ourselves. The stock market lost, what was it? $5.9 trillion in 4 days. And Trump says, oh, we're winning. We're pocketing $2 billion a day from tariffs. Do your math, okay? Say $6 trillion at $2 billion a day. It's going to take, well, Trump will be probably dead and gone by the time that $2 billion a day makes up for the $6 trillion lost in the stock market. So he's just costing the United States money, or more money, and the world is going to hell because of one man, Donald J. Trump. And that's my take on this whole story of the tariffs. I had to speak up. It's on everybody's mind, and we're just waiting to see how it sort of rolls out. I think the Don will back off and lose his composure as soon as all of these tariffs kick in and the United States goes, oh no, now what? And that's another video from Gweilo 60. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, hit that share button, and until next time, peace out. Bye now.